Beyond science, beyond muscle, technology or instinct, there is a power that cannot be explained. Only fear is the power of magic, of the occult, of the mystical in Marviva. Superior, the mystic class has for years been one of the most dangerous and unpredictable in the game.
Champions that are not governed by physical damage, but arcane manipulations, passive punishments, and abilities that bend or destroy the rules of combat. Today, Summoner, we delve into the dark corners of Battle Royale to reveal the 10 most powerful mystical champions of the update, those who reign both in attack and absolute control of power, devastating charges and bursts, and in defense, where one mistake can cost you the entire game. But before opening this dark grimonium, a warning, this top is personal analysis-based direct observation experience of the arcane horrors of the battlefield. If you don't agree with the order, leave your top in the comments, but do it with respect, because in the Magic Kingdom, everything you throw can come back to you. Today we don't just classify champions. Today we recognize the true masters of mysticism, those who do not fight with swords, but with reality itself. This is the top 10 of the mystical class in Superior Villains, and the spell has already begun. We open this top 10.1 exception, but also as a reminder. Not everything that glitters needs to be 7 star. There are champions who, even though they are 6 stars, continue to dominate with such an imposing presence that it is possible to ignore them. Therefore, on this altar of magic and punishment, position number 10 is shared by two mystical titans, Dr. Doom, who needs no scientific introduction, Sorcerer Monarch, a brilliant attempt with the soul to dark magic. Doom combines power control, endurance, punishment, and constant pressure on the opponent. The attack is rotation is as sure as the blows. Then you hit hard over attack 1 and over attack 2 to leave incinerating everything while the enemy can't load bar, can't breathe, and can't survive on defense. His Doom Classroom punishes all contact, and if you miss a super attack 1, prepare to be stunned and destroyed. Although it is not 7 stars, it is still the standard by which others are measured, and then we have Absorbing Mar. Karl Cruiser Krilf, an ordinary criminal until he has touched for the power of the gods. Today, it is a living force of nature. His gameplay revolves around his elemental forms where he can turn into liquid rock zero magma, absorbing damage, doubling effects, and hitting with unstoppable brutality. Attacks have access to regeneration immunity, power efficiency, and damage bursts. Awesome if you know how to keep up and play with their shapes. In defense, it is a nightmare, it changes shape constantly, reduces the damage received, and if you don't know when to punish, you are not going to break it, and you won't stop talking about its regeneration. Dr. Dunn absorbs Man, two 6-star champions who continue to compete head-to-head with the new metagame Titans, with its control, damage, defense, and relevance intact. Both share number 10 with pride and power, because mystical power is not measured in stars, it is measured in fear. In post number 9 lies something that no one saw coming, a being that arrived without noise but that leaves a trace that is impossible to ignore. He is Kindred, the hidden, poisonous swarm that is not seen until it is too late. The Kindred's attack is a champion that doesn't need speed, just proximity. Each hit applies atrophy, a disadvantage that minimizes the duration of the opponent's upgrades, key against champions that rely on buffs. With each hit, you also accumulate infestation, which you can charge faster with hard hits. Once infestation is activated, the enemy begins to degenerate, and simply by being close to you, you don't need to hit, just be present and watch how the rival slowly crumbles. A fighting style that slowly presses, but inevitably punishes. But where Kindle becomes a real terror is in defense. Passive degeneration during infestation is brutal and constant, even if it's not delivering direct hits. When he throws a strong hit, he becomes immune to stun, causing many players to fall into the mistake of trying to stop him and only manage to receive punishment. And worst of all, when you're about to kill it, the ground roots you. Yes, at the end of the fight, you are trapped at the mercy of his blows. There's a combination of more quick hits. It can wipe out your health in seconds, and if you're not ready, it's too late to escape. Kindle is not a titan or a blast of damage. He's a silent parasite, a master of slow poison, a trap that goes off just when you think you've won for his offensive control, his stifling style, and a deadly defense when you least expect it. Kindle rightfully takes the spot, not the mystic top, because some champions crush you, but he consumes you. In pose number 8 appears a prodigy, a conjugator of chaos and order, a young sorcerer who dominates battle with surgical precision. He is Wiccan, the heir to power, the destroyer of advantage, the architect of the storm. Wiccan doesn't go crazy into battle. He builds his victories with spells and executes them masterfully.
With a sequence of hits and blocks, he activates his arcane spells that transform combat into magical strategy games, his specialty, annihilating champions that depend on advantages.
Thanks to its ability to neutralize, any improvement the opponent tries to gain becomes a disadvantage. Whether incineration or high voltage, analysis punishes defense and high voltage burst health with energy damage. In addition, Wiccan has access to extra power generation and an improvement in its blocking ability, making it much tougher than it looks. A champion who punishes for trying to improve, who turns the enemy's ambition into his greatest weakness in defense. Wiccan is not left behind either. If he manages to hit you, prepare to suffer. His blows easily activate passive disadvantages that can become deadly and his spells accumulate. They are still active even in the hands of IA, which may surprise you at the worst possible time. One miscalculation, one attempt to gain an advantage, and everything explodes against you. A defender who isn't intimidating at first glance, but who can bleed your health out with a perfectly aligned combo. Wiccan not only represents the future, it is the present of mystics with pure usefulness for its ability to convert advantages into punishment, for its absolute control of the battlefield, and for a style that rewards intelligence. Wiccan takes the number 8 position as a champion that cannot be underestimated because in the hands of magic, it is not a spectacle, it is a sentence. In position number 7, a champion that many ignored resurfaces, a mystical warrior who travels between dimensions and who has finally claimed her place.
She is America Chavez, the portal breaker, the guardian of the multiverse, and now the nightmare of those who underestimate her power in Attack America. Chavez does not seek to destroy in the first blow, build an interdimensional trap. His style revolves around his hard hit, made up of 3 consecutive impacts that determine which dimension will be activated when launching the super attack.
If you charge all 3 hits of the 4th, then launch a super attack, enter the negative zone on attack, super attacks, unblockable on defense, massive reduction in enemy power gain. If you launch the over attack after the second hard hit, you enter the dark dimension. In attack, you regenerate 12% of the damage inflicted. In defense, you reflect 40% of the energy damage. If you do it after the first hit, you do the Utopian parallel. In attack, you incur additional damage per hit, and in defense, you reduce the power of your opponent's upgrades. A flexible, complex, and tremendously strategic rotation that turns America Chavez into a chameleon of battle, adapting to what you need in each confrontation. In defense, America Chavez can be hell if you don't know what to expect. Your guide can also charge the hard blow and activate the more annoying dimensions. Negative zone to reduce power gain, dark dimension to reflect energy damage, and for Utopian to reduce your improvements and slowly suffocates you, and if you try to finish with a blockable super attack after a well-activated dimension, the fight can end right there. A champion who not only punishes you, tests you mentally. For a long time, America was ignored, hidden among more obvious brightness, but today, with its dimensions aligned, and the power of the 7 stars behind it, is a total force in attack and defense, for its clever gameplay, adaptability, and rebirth as a tactical nightmare. America Chavez remains in number 7 position, because in the multiverse underestimating her was the biggest mistake. In position number 6 stands an ancient sorceress, superb, imposing, and as dangerous as it is unpredictable. She's Enchantress, the charming one. The manipulator of wills, the one who fights not by force but by curse. In attack, Enchantress is not an easy champion, her damage is there, but she needs crawling, accumulation, time, and a lot of correct actions to achieve a decent impact. Although it can cast spells and weaken the enemy, its real problem is the slowness to get to real damage. In the hands of the average player, his offense falls behind other options, but make no mistake, because his real battlefield is not attack, it is defense, because in defense Enchanter it turns into a nightmare. During the fight, it activates a sequence of spells that force you to perform specific actions such as intercept, hit hard, or knock her down with a hard hit or over attack. If you don't meet the Jeep in time and launch an attack 1, all the damage you did to it comes back to you as a brutal burst of magic, an explosion that can wipe out your life in seconds. And the worst thing is that in many nodes doing these actions is not always possible, and deserting when the node punishes failures, taking it down when your over attack has not yet loaded its defense, is not only magical, it is psychological. It forces you to act and punishes you. If you can't enchant, she doesn't need to rush you, she waits to give you the rules, and if you don't follow them, it destroys you with your own effort due to its ability to condition the fight. It's lethal overkill than one and a defense that forces you to change your style completely. In Yantres, he takes the number 6 position of the mystical top, because sometimes the most lethal magic is the one you cause yourself. In position number 5 appears a giant who does not stop, a champion who was forgotten, mocked until they are finished, he said. It's time to unleash the real monster. This is Juggernaut. The avatar of destruction, the one in sight and alive, the one who stops for nothing or anyone. Play note, he is a 100% offensive champion. It doesn't look for gimmicks or fancy mechanics. The rust erases you. Its probability is as simple as it is effective. Hit, gain loads of unstoppable, and when you get to 10, go into beast mode. With those 10 charges, he launches Super Attack 2 and watch as the rival's health bar melts as the damage is brutal, raw and direct. Also, by having those 10 charges, Juggernaut also becomes truly unstoppable, being able to get through hits and defend like a train without breaks. A champion made to finish, you fight fast to get in to crush and get out without looking back. But every force has a weak point, and that of Juggernaut is clear. If they put you at a single disadvantage, whatever it may be, you will not be able to activate the unstoppable one. Hemorrhage, sedation, poison, and the giant slows down. Therefore, although it is an offensive beast, it requires care, planning, and favorable counters. On defense, I don't shine so much. It is predictable and without well-calibrated AI. Their unstoppables can be nullified or ignored. But in specific nodes where the unstoppable is enhanced or more difficult to counter, it can become a real nuisance. It's not strong, it's not his strong, but if the node blesses it, you better be prepared. You are now is the perfect example of how a forgotten character can become one of the deadliest in the metagame. With the right buff for its simplicity, devastating power, and rebirth as a pure offensive tank, you are now stays with the number 5 spot on the Mystic top because sometimes all it needs to win. It's a good streak of unstoppable and not looking back in number 4. We did not surrender to precision, to concentration, to mastery of ritual. He is Wong, the perfect disciple, the keeper of arcane knowledge, the executor of mandalas of destruction. Wong is not a character for the impatient. He is a champion who rewards the intelligent player who knows how to rotate, control, and wait for the exact moment to annihilate. His style of play revolves around mandalas as they are used, as you have to load the blow hard to prepare the desired mandala. Cast Super Attack 1-2 to activate its effect and see the true power of mystical preparation. Wong also gains loads of determination over time, and by maintaining a patient posture, that accumulated power can become brutal punishment. Therefore, in long content, where sustained damage makes the difference, Wong becomes a lethal weapon that dominates through exhaustion and control. Defensively, Wong doesn't overly impress his eye as he rarely takes advantage of his rotation. His mandalas in the hands of the defender are no big problem. He's not annoying, he's not cheating, but he's not chosen either. That's why his kingdom is controlled attack, extended battle. Strategic survival has long been a hidden gem, but now, with the evolution of content, with a confrontation that requires patience and wisdom, it has revealed its true potential. For his mastery of mandalas, for his ability to punish over time, and for being a high-level mystical tool of the right hands, one takes the number 4 spot because in the art of magical warfare, knowledge is power, and Wong is the one who wrote the book in the number 3 spot. We roar with the spirit of fire, with the claw of the mystical, with the lethal foresight that only a trained hunter can offer. This is Tigra, the scourge of improvements, the shadow that hunts among spells and lurks in all who dare to shine. Tigra is a character created to dismantle arrogant champions, those who surround themselves with upgrades, armor, and regeneration. Each Tiger hit applies neutralization, an ability that negates the opponent's upgrades and turns them into breaking disadvantages, stripping enemies and leaving them vulnerable.
But that's not all. Tigre has one of the most technical and unique gameplay in the game, keeping the hard hit active in a failure zone against ranged attacks, that is, bullets, lightning or explosions that simply disappear when approaching it. This aura of failure makes her a lethal hunter, as she can maintain pressure, approach in the middle of distant attacks and punish with her super attack as soon as you are in range. His hard hit also has an extended range, allowing him to apply the aura from a safe distance and control the pace of the fight. Also, their super attacks are unblockable, and if there are armor breaks on the enemy, they can explode them to deal explosive bonus damage, a punishment for every upgrade the enemy tried to enjoy in defense. Tigra is not a terror, but she is not a harmless kitten either. Her unblockable super attacks can catch you by surprise if you are not prepared, and the speed of her movements can make her difficult to intercept. Not her main strength, but they have enough to cause problems in the hands of AI. Especially if you underestimate its range. Tigra doesn't just neutralize improvements, it neutralizes egos. She is a hunter who gives no space, who punishes every improvement with a break, and who dances around danger. With the elegance of a wild priestess due to her control of the field, her technical power, and her unique explosiveness, Tigra remains in the number 3 position of the Mystic top, because when the Heart of Fire roars, there is no armor that can resist.
In position number 2 rises an 8-legged shadow, a queen of astral pain, an interdimensional predator. She is Satra, the panic weaver, the wasp queen, the terror of the trusting. Satra is a character who at first passed without pain or glory, but who in expert hands has proven to be a weapon of mass destruction.
Capable of erasing the most powerful mystics from the games, its gameplay is as simple as it is ruthless. Make medium weak and medium combos to spawn astral eggs. Each hit makes them grow beat, approaching the key moment of, from time to time he launches a super attack 1, which in addition to adding more pressure, applies to atrophy, making the defender's upgrades last less. But the real terror begins when he has enough astral eggs. Keep hitting hard at the right time, this drains the defender's power, allows you to reach super attack 2, and if you do it over time, it will be unlockable. And there, right there, all the astral eggs explode, open, transform, release astral wasps, each dealing brutal energy damage, stinging the opponent in irresistible bursts, a dance of interdimensional poison that melts health bars like butter. Best of all, that damage ignores the inevitable and devastating energetic physical resistance in defense. Satra is not the worst, but it can surprise you if you don't know how to read his moves. If you don't know how to punish or interrupt his hard blows, it can drain your power or catch you in his rhythm. In addition, her power accumulation can take her fast over attack. If they can be released with the active eggs, it can hit you with an unexpected barrage. It's not a defensive wall, but it's a character that can punish you for the slightest mistake. Satra has gone from being ignored to being one of the most dangerous offensives in the game. With its ability to drain you, to control your power, and to unleash lethal swarms that you cannot stop, it has more than earned the number 2 spot on this mystical throne, because in the multiverse there is no creature more dangerous than one who was forgotten and returns hungry. And now yes, there is only one place left, the mystical throne that does not admit mistakes, the number 1 position. Do you dare to find out who occupies it, although you probably already know who he is? Well said. In position number 1, there is no room for doubt, there is no room for resistance, there is only fire, spirit, and judgment. She is Kusala, la Ghost Rider, Mystic, the Rider of Arcane Wisdom, the living punishment of the ancient gods. Kusala enters combat with a unique and absolutely lethal style of play. His goal is clear: to accumulate power through knowledge, justice, and fury. Through stops, hard blows, interceptions, Kusala gets up to 3 blessings of each type: wisdom, justice, and power, each activating different effects. But when you get all 3 at once, the world shakes, they go into temporary pause, and Kusala becomes a purging and punishment machine. The key to its damage is inflammation. With its basic attacks, you have a high probability of applying it. It does not hurt by itself, but it is the seed of hell. When you launch Super Attack 1, all of the opponent's inflammations and upgrades are consumed and transformed into massive incinerations that devour the rival's life mercilessly. And if that wasn't enough, Super Attack 2 summons the Spirit Bush, a guaranteed handicap that deals damage based on the number of enemy upgrades. You can't fail, you can't avoid, you can only suffer. Use it, don't hit hard, kiss it, curse it, insulate it, and burn. She's the absolute queen of damage.
Due to defensive disadvantages, Kusala can also give you a very bad time. His super attacks are difficult to dodge, but due to his wide and fast animations, and if you are close to hospitalization, he can leave your life empty in seconds. It's not the prettiest defense in the game, but underestimating it is a fatal mistake. For her mastery of blessings, for her control over the battlefield, for her ability to annihilate enhancements and transform the soul of combat into an altar of sacred fire, Kusala proclaims herself the ultimate mystic champion, queen of damage by handicaps and guardian of the #1 position, because there is fire that burns and there is fire that purifies, and when Kusala rides, there is nothing left but ashes. And so, friends, concludes our journey through the depths of the most enigmatic, powerful and feared class in all of contest, the Mystic class. We have seen champions who rule Hellfire, who manipulate the soul, time and space, who nullify advantages, distort reality and consume hope with every curse. From Kusala's fiery chastisement to Satra's lethal buzz, through Tigra's technical fury and One and Wikam's impossible rituals, one thing is clear. Mythics don't face each other with brute force, they face each other with wisdom, strategy and respect. But remember, this top is just a personal vision based on performance, usefulness and pure admiration for these champions. If you have your own ranking, do not hesitate to share in the comments. Of course, orderly, with respect and without belittling anyone, because at the end of the day, we all fight under the same sand. If you like this video, subscribe, leave your like, activate the bell, and join this community of summoners that continues to grow day by day. Thank you for joining me on this journey through magic, chaos and destruction. And remember, when you fight the mystical, don't underestimate the power of the invisible until the next summoner's top disappears in a cloud of smoke. And before finishing the video, thank you very much to all of you who are members of the channel this July 2025. To become a member, you have the description of the video, and many thanks to the TheShori of Ana Banana, Eliel Ramirez and Oscar Salmeron and Facundo Juan being an authentic Shori. So thank you very much for being members of the channel.